walking you through the process of exploratory data analysis. Well, the meaning of these three words is actually there in the name itself. We are actually exploring the data for analysis. It's the first step towards analyzing any data. We first need to understand what kind of data we are working with, the important parameters on which we need to focus on, and that can only be achieved when we comprehend the what the data is about and what exactly we need to use on that data, whether it is a classification problem or a regression problem, or it requires clustering techniques. That only can be achieved when we understand all the important parameters of the data, the attributes, and how they're actually correlating with each other. So, ED also plays a very important role when we want to weave a story around our data. And it consists of three main parts, which is the first is when we understand all the existing parameters. The second is when we do cleaning, because that is very, very important. And the third is when we start with the actual analysis of the data. So for this tutorial, I've downloaded a data set by the name of Online News Popularity. It is easily available on Kaggle. I'll post the link down below, and I'll also post the code of for this entire the GitHub link for this tutorial as well. So this is the first part wherein we are understanding all the parameters. So this section of the code gives the attribute information. There is like these are all the columns that are available in the data. There is the URL. There are the tokens title, which means the number of tokens, number of words in a title. N tokens content, which is the number of words in the content, and so forth and so on. So this is all the columns, and this is a target variable that is of shares. Also, this LDA00, LDA01 is the closeness to LDA topic 0. In text mining, we do topic modeling, which is basically when we split all the words into tokens, and all those tokens are arranged into small clusters based on the association that they have each other and how and what those clusters are about. So these LDA, these topic could be anything. It could be these topics could be about clothes, about food, about machines, technology, anything. So for this data, whoever the creators are, bless them for that. They have actually created five main topics, and what they've done is they have linked all the articles to all these to these five topics, like to these five domains, and how closely they are related to these five main topics. How like every article, how closely it is related to all these five topics. These columns actually depict that the probability of that. And yeah, so this is the target variable that is shared, which is the number of views have been on this particular article, on any particular article. So we began the first step by importing all the important libraries. So NumPy, Panda, Seaborn for Seaborn and Matplot for visualization. Then we start with uploading our data set. So my data set was already there on the Jupyter platform. So this is the basic command. Then this is the first step of data.head, wherein we check whether the data that we have actually uploaded is correctly displayed or correctly uploaded. So by default, it shows the first five entries. If you specify a number in these brackets, like 10 or 15, it will show you the first 10 or first 15 values. So as you can see, the data set, it's loaded perfectly fine. So we can like start. Data dot, oh, I skipped a code. Hold on a minute. Okay. So data dot shape over here tells you the number of rows and columns. So 39,644 is the number of rows and 38 is the number of columns for this data set. Their data dot columns tell you list out all the columns that are there and the type that they have. Since all the data in this data set is basically numerical, we have the data type as object. Data.describe is a statistical displays a statistical description of the entire data set. It gives you the count, the number of rows that it has, the mean value, the standard deviation, then the minimum value in that column, the maximum value, and these 25%, 50, and 75% are actually the quartiles. First quartile, second, and third. Right? Okay. So then we come to our next step of data cleaning. After understanding all the parameters that are there in the data set, we come to the next part of data cleaning. So the first step is actually obviously to check for any null values that we have. Fortunately for this data set, we don't have any null values. In case we do have, we usually end up either dropping those rows or columns if they don't significantly contribute towards the final output, or we interpolate them by using mean, mode, or median. Uh, so you check your data for any null values by this command. If you just write data.isNull, it will give you like true, false kind of Boolean expressions for every entry out there. True is for like there is a null value, and false like there's no null value. And if you write dot sum, it will display the number of null values. Since this data has no null values, it displays zero over here. And this one is the next step that we do is to detect any outliers. Now, outliers are play a very significant role, specifically if we are doing any sort of statistical analysis, because it can actually shift the mean, standard deviation, median of the data significantly. I hope you all know what outliers are. In case you don't know, a very simple definition of outliers would be those values which do not concede to the average the average values of a data set. Like for example, in a group of five, if four students are scoring somewhere between 50 or 60, there's one who scores with either 80 or 90, or just less than, or like 30 or 20. That one person would be considered as an outlier, because when you take the mean of all those five students altogether, the mean would shift. It, instead of coming between 50 or 60, it would be either more than 60 or less than 50, depending on what the score of the fifth person is. So treatment of outliers is very important, specifically when we are doing statistical analysis, as I've mentioned before. So that is usually done by checking the values using interquartile range. So anything that falls the most common way is to check out the values which fall below 25% and are more than 75%. So any values that fall below 25% are outliers, and any values that fall above 75% are also outliers. I created a function for this uh, data set. This is a function that I created, and I'm so sorry for the background noise right here, right now. Okay, so this is the function that I created over here. The Q1 is tells the data that 25% is your starting point, and Q3 tells your data that the 75% is the ending point. And this is the mathematical formula for it, and this is where you tell the data that anything below 20, I think below 25%, anything more above than 25% should be considered. We are actually considering that. We are not taking anything in the middle of it. We are considering everything that falls above and below. So this the dataset has a lot of outliers, as you can see over here, right? Now you can either treat all the outliers that are there in the data set, or you can just treat the outliers which are important to you. So usually we check for outliers in the target variable, and any other variable that majorly affects the target variable. Another way of checking the outliers is through boxplot. Boxplot is my personal favorite because visual descriptions are always easier to comprehend. So if you can see from this particular graph, the values which are somewhere like this, these values of 6 that fall above 6 lakh and 8 lakh, or these values would be considered an outlier, because most of the values are clustered somewhere around uh, 2 lakh and 4 lakhs, but these are the only values which are just going, on their own. So these would be considered as an outlier. And so treatment of outliers is usually done by three methods. The one that I have found to be working. One is when you just specify the interquartile range like you did above. Instead of above, we actually took out all the values which were below 25% and above 75%. We just create a function and we tell the system that just instead of displaying those values, you just remove those values from our data set, right? So we just need the values that fall within the range. Second method is by a z-score method. Now z-score would I'll explain z-score, and I'll just post a link for z-score explanation, which will be easier for you to understand. And the third method is for a Winsorized package. Winsorized package is a package that comes from the SkyPy repository. So this package actually, like treats outliers most of the parameters. Like I just applied this package for the all my entire data set. So it did resolve my issue of outliers in many of the parameters, many of the attributes, but not on most of them. So for this data set, like for the shares one, it is showing an outliers around 4,000. I'm not going to dissolve these outliers. The reason being, shares basically means the views for any article. Now it is very normal for for one article to be extremely popular and one article to not even get more than like one or two views. It just depends on the content that we're displaying. So I won't consider those any of those as outliers. So I'm just ignoring that part. And then we start with the data analysis part. And over here you can see that the first thing that I did was to check the number of articles that are being displayed every week. Like which week this has the most number of articles that are being released out there. So you can see from the graph, it's like Tuesday and Wednesday have the highest number of articles, followed by Thursday, and Saturday has the least number of articles that are being released. Then the next graph displays the genre of all those articles. So we've got like here like uh, five genres, which is entertainment, lifestyle, tech is for technological, socio-medical, and business. The most famous out of all these five is technological, followed by entertainment, and the least favorite is actually lifestyle. It does not have that much of views. Then we have these all these topics. I've mentioned before what LDA 00 and LDA 01 stand for. So out of all these like five topic models, the most like you say famous better one or the most famous one is actually for LDA topic 04. Now, I have no idea what LDA topic 04 is. It's not mentioned in the data dictionary of the dataset, but that is the most famous one. Then we can check that on whether on a weekend or on a weekday, which like which day the any particular article has received most views, whether it's a weekend or it's a weekday. So this graph shows 0 is for weekday and 1 is for weekend. So this graph shows that for on weekend we've got more shares, more popularity of any particular article as compared to your weekday, right? Just okay. So another important aspect of EDA is feature engineering. In simpler terms, feature engineering is nothing but when we use the existing you can say columns or existing attributes or parameters to create a new one. That is what feature engineering is about, and it usually comes in the part of data cleaning itself, wherein we self. So, okay, so over here, what I've done is that I've used the target variable of shares. Now, the values in the shares column is numerical based on the number of views any certain article has. It doesn't tell me whether that article is, very popular or highly or not that popular or averagely popular. So what I've done is I've created like five categories of all those values in the target variable to be very low, low, medium, high, and very high. Medium would be average, and then you can just understand the rest. So I've mentioned all these values. Like anything that falls below 1,000 is not very famous for any online news website, which is quite famous. 10,000, then 30,000, and so forth. Okay, so now when we execute this command above of feature engineering, we will see that they have actually added a column over here, which means popularity. So for every article, it would tell you whether that article falls in the category of very low, very or low or high or mediumly popular. Medium, it's not mediumly popular. Sorry. Okay, so then we come to this graph wherein we display all the articles, how they're falling. This is the visual description of what we have done above. So from this graph, you can see that we have most of the articles fall in the category of popular, either averagely or like with the high popularity. There are then there are some which are like have a low popularity, and there are very few which have very low popularity. So basically this website is doing good in terms of viewership. And then this plot is another plot of a scatter plot, which wherein we can check. This is a scatter plot between tokens content, that is number of words in content, and the popularity. So that is it tells you that how many words in a content should be there for that article to be like very very famous, or like just averagely famous. So if you can see, these are the number of words that is sitting 4,000, 2,000, 6,000, and this is the popularity index for that. Then we have another one which is for title and popularity one, like how many words in a title should be there as so that to have it in a good category of viewership. So if you have a title which is like very very long, you can see this, it falls in the category of low viewership. But if you have a title which has like a number of words from around from 5 to 15 words in the title, it falls in the category of either medium, high, or very high popularity. I think the highest is when you have the number of uh, words in a title is like somewhere around between 6 to, you can say, 15. So that's okay. Like that's not a very large title, but not a very abruptly small one also. Then you can create a very as many graphs as you want, and to check how they are affecting your target variable. This one is for like number of images that you have, like whether an article is more famous if they have a lot of images or whether they have less images. So you can see that if you have a lot of images, it is not that exactly famous because people are actually looking for content. So you need to have less of images, and that falls in a very good category of popularity index. Same is the case with videos. Videos are good, but again we need content for that, right? Yeah, so these are, I've done it for like specific topics. You can do it for any other, all the parameters. You can check it against your popularity index to see how they're affecting. Now this one is a correlation table to check that how individual attributes interact with your target variable. This should actually have been done in the starting itself to see which attributes make a have a greater impact on your target value, and then you can just check out the interaction between those values, right? So uh, this is the scale that they've shown. So anything that's in the area of, it's in yellow or this green shade, like 70 above 75, it makes the contribution, significant contribution. Anything below that can be just ignored, right? You don't need to see that. So this is all for I have for exploratory data analysis. I'll post the Kaggle link for the data set and the GitHub link that I've used that for this Dio video, which has the code. So yes, guys, thank you.